Welcome to the 71st Toronto Sportsman Show. I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for the volunteers, this would not happen. Let's talk to a few of them right now.
How long have you been volunteering and why'd you do it?
I've been with Fish TV for just a little over 20 years now. Love working with kids. The trout pond is one of the main things over here. I've been running all this time I've been with them. And as you can see, the kids have a great time and just love doing it.
There you go. Oh. How long have you been volunteering?
Just under 10 years.
Why do you do it and why do you love it?
I'm a big fan of birds, and so being this close with birds of prey is pretty awesome.
How do you find that the people? Are they interested?
Yeah, a lot of people are interested. You get a lot of people saying, I had this come to my bird feeder and take out some birds, what was it? And it's great letting them know what it is, or they've seen the peregrines out in the city. They don't get to see them up close, so when they're sitting right here on the post, they can look at them and go, that's what I see flying around my apartment.
Well, this is Alexandra. She's a great horned owl. She's about 18 years old. And she's a western species of great horned owl. And so she's a little smaller. The ones we have in Ontario here, the Ontario species, are a little bit larger than her. The Sportsman Show here is one of my favorite events of the year. Just seeing the kids come here and seeing the look on their faces when they see these birds of prey. And not just the kids, but a lot of time it's the adults that are just as enthusiastic about it at all. And quite honestly, not to sound big-headed here about it, but the comments we get here, there's a lot of people that say that they're the only reason that they come to the Sportsman Show is to come to see the birds of prey, which really makes us feel good.
So why did you decide to volunteer at an archery range?
Well, it's a kids' archery range, and I really like working with children, and archery is a good sport to get involved with. So.
And why do you say it's a good sport?
It's a good sport because you can learn a lot of skills, like hand-eye coordination. And also, it's a really fun sport. It's something like you don't really see everywhere, but when you do see it, it's actually really fun.
So we are here from Speaking of Wildlife. It's a traveling wildlife education company that houses animals from Ontario that cannot survive in the wild or be released to the wild. So this is Burnaby. She's fairly new to us. She came to us last summer because somebody was keeping her illegally as a pet. You can see some of the indications of that or signs of that. She's got sort of a funny jaw, funny toes, a bit of a swoop in her shell here. And those are all probably related to improper diet when she was being kept as a pet.
What kind of turtle is she?
Burnaby is a wood turtle. You can tell based on the orange skin, usually brightly colored in some shade of orange, and their shell looks like it's been carved from wood.
How common is this turtle? I've never seen a wood turtle.
They're actually critically endangered here in the province. So there are so few of them and they're so well protected that the Ministry of Natural Resources don't tell us where they are because people were going out and stealing them from the wild to be pets.
So tell me about your skunk, and I'm surprised to see a skunk at the show.
Yeah, so this is Chanel. And Chanel is, like all of our animals, unable to survive in the wild on her own. She was born in captivity and actually meant to be in a zoo or wildlife center, but unfortunately wasn't in the most responsible of breeding programs. So she has some health problems. She has a bit of a tremor, calcium deficiency, and that's why she's with us for the rest of her life.
Are people surprised to see a skunk?
Yes, the most common question we get here is whether or not she can spray. So we've been playing a bit of a trick on people, saying there's a magic word. If they yell it loud enough, Chanel will spray them and we'll evacuate the whole building. Of course, it never happens. She has been descented, but definitely a shocker. Sometimes we see people plug in their nose and running the other way.
Argo is actually made here in Ontario, New Hamburg, so it's Canadian-made product. Certain applications you may want to track, especially wintertime, or if you get yourself into swampy areas, you can go wheels or track, so it's your choice. But the advantage of a track, you can see a lot more square footage, or pounds per square inch, a lot more on the ground there, right?
Now you've set up this huge track. Can you tell me why you decided to do this route?
Well, it gives the people a chance to actually experience driving one and riding into one, and for the kids love it. And so it's a good attraction for the kids. They've never really been into an Argo before. We actually have water back there, so they can actually go in the water and we float. And the kids think it's just great, and so do the parents actually too. Big difference between a 6 and an 8 is the 6-wheeler is designed for 4 people on land, 2 people in the water. The 8-wheeler is designed for 6 people on land, 4 people in the water.
How much more land can you access if you have an Argo?
With the Argo, you can pretty well go anywhere. The limits are endless on it.
Ted, what are you doing here?
Well, you know, I'm here at the Cook Your Catch stage at the Sportsman Show 2018, having a good time, cooking up some, well, lots of different things. We've been doing whitefish burgers. This afternoon we're going to do some rabbit. We did a venison stew. Oh, tasty, tasty, tasty food. Makes my belly happy. And then you're just having a good time. You know, it's always a good time with Foodland Ontario and the Ministry of Natural Resources. You can get a fishing license here. And so if you got a license and you caught a fish, then you could cook the fish and eat the fish, and that would be really great because in Ontario we got great fish, delicious fish.
Today you're cooking some whitefish, I heard.
We're gonna make these smashed whitefish burgers. And so it's whitefish, fresh whitefish from Lake Huron. And then we take that and we're mixing it with a little bit of onion and some fresh dill, a little bit of potato starch and egg white. And you make this mix and you get your pan hot and you drop a ball of fish in there and make a burger.
Let me ask you about the whitefish, because it hasn't always been a favorite on the table in Ontario. Why the big comeback for whitefish?
Because it's sweet and delicious and it's local and it comes out of our own waters. And it's not coming from all over the place, it's local. And that's the big trend, is to take the ingredients that are in our own area, whether it be from the lakes or from the farms, and embrace them and enjoy them at certain times of the year. And that's the greatest thing about Ontario, is that we're a delicious province. We've got wonderful, wonderful foods here. And so chefs are looking to support the local fishermen, support the local farmers, and do things when they're in season. And that's the greatest thing. We gotta have some fun with the food.
Designed and built this course, correct?
Yes, I did, with a lot of help from my family and friends. But then when I thought I was finished, my wife took over and improved it and made it a lot better.
So why do you do this?
I do this because I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. We bring the kids out. Everybody gets to have a good time. And they just get to be introduced to the RC. It's not only just boats and planes and racing. Now you can have a lot of fun with things that go a lot slower.
What are you doing here? I understand you're a volunteer, and why'd you do it?
Trying to help teach kids how to drive these RC trucks, like get them out of the house, get them away from video games. Teaching these things is a lot of fun. RC is really, it's one of my favorite things to do. It's one of my favorite hobbies, and I think it could be everybody's favorite hobby if they get into it.
Give it a little bit of gas so it goes up and over. Perfect! Good job, buddy. Good job.
Okay. See how I'm turning the hook? You're very welcome. You're going to get that in life. You're going to get people that are telling you you're crazy and you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm living proof you can do whatever you want. Just have fun. Hey, you know what? My dad used to take me fishing. I'd fish for 15 minutes and then I'd kick the grass and play around and throw rocks in the creek. That's something kids remember. If you're ever going to get anything out of this, take a kid fishing, please. Honestly, they'll never ever forget it. I want to thank you very much for coming out today. I really appreciate it, and so does Leo. That's it, folks. We'll see you next year.